Independent Report of 2019 General Elections. Speaker, Edo House of Assembly, says lawmakers won't hesitate to checkmate Governor Obaseki. ASU begs federal government to pity children of average Nigerians. On entertainment, one of BB Niger's finalists, Nengi, lands political appointment in Bayelsa.
And in sports, Nigeria's Tigers coach McBrown releases a 20-man provisional list, 2021 AfroBasket qualifiers.
Details of these and more after this break. I am Charles Apurum. News in detail. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on Friday presented the report of the 2019 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu made the presentation while briefing journalists at the nation's headquarters in Abuja. He explained that the document contained two reports: the report of the stakeholders' retreat of the 2019 general elections and the report of the election itself by the Commission. Professor Yakubu gave a breakdown of the report to include preparations, conduct, and post-election events. He noted that the report contained 180 recommendations, adding that some of them required administrative actions by the Commission. Some of them that required administrative actions by the Commission are already being implemented. According to the INEC chief, the implementation of the recommendations led to the improvement in the Edo and Ondo governorship elections. He, however, stated that other recommendations in the report would require legislative backings by the National Assembly to be implemented. He believes that the two reports will help to strengthen the Commission to deliver free, fair, and credible elections in the country. The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Marcus Onobun, says lawmakers will not hesitate to discharge their statutory function of checkmating the executive in a non-confrontational manner. The Speaker said it was not correct to link his recent emergence as the Speaker to the influence of Governor Godwin Obaseki, claiming that the mantle of leadership was bestowed on him by the collective decision of the legislators. Honorable said this Friday in Benin at an interactive session with journalists in Benin. He assured that the Assembly would ensure the success of Obaseki's administration, but would not be a rubber stamp of the executive. He revealed that the governor, who would be inaugurated for a second term along with his deputy, Philip Shaibu, on November 12th, allowed Edo Assembly to run without interference. He said the change of leadership in Edo Assembly became necessary in order to strengthen the House, thereby enabling the lawmakers to function maximally towards discharging their constitutional responsibilities. The judicial panel set up by the Lagos State government to probe alleged cases of police brutality in the state played back the closed-circuit TV footage from the October 20th Lekki shooting at its meeting on Friday. The panel had obtained the footage of the incident from the Lekki Concession Company at its last sitting. The chairperson of the panel, retired Justice Doris Okuobi, granted approval for the footage to be played after hearing from the council. The video was played for about 4 hours, after which the counsel to the NSAS protesters, Adesina Ogunlana, requested the footage for further viewing. This was opposed by the counsel to the government, Abiodun Owonikoko. Justice Okuobi, however, overruled Owonikoko and gave Ogunlana 48 hours to view the footage. Earlier, Ogunlana's appearance had been objected to by the opposing counsel on the grounds that the NSAS protesters were not recognized by law. After a prolonged argument, Ogunlana presented 3 ladies as representatives of the NSAS protesters. The panel chairperson, Justice Okuobi, then ruled that Ogunlana could represent the protesters. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Police Command has warned residents against any form of planned protest, procession, or gathering under any guise in the state. The Police Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in the state gave the warning in a statement on behalf of the police authorities in Lagos. He said the police would resist any protest as the government and people of Lagos still nurture the wounds of the recent violence that wreaked havoc across the state following the NSAS protests. He explained that the possibility of armed hoodlums hijacking such protests to cause grief and pains like the recent past was evident. The command spokesman therefore asked law-abiding residents to ignore any call for protests and go about their lawful businesses. Operatives of the Nigeria Police Force on Friday tear-gassed and arrested some NSAS protesters who returned to the streets of Abuja to call for an end to police brutality. The protesters resumed their protests in front of the National Assembly complex and painted NSAS graffiti on the road to remind the federal government of their demands. However, they were dispersed by men of the police who used tear gas on them and arrested about 4 of the protesters. Coming up in a moment after this break, Council appeals to federal government to pity Nigerian students as strike continues. Do stay with us, please.
At split seconds, there is a lot happening around us, but we can't be everywhere all the time. We've got work, families, and chores to cater to, and most importantly, time to rest. And that's why having reliable partner like KUFM News is important. Sleeping? We don't. We work round the clock, bringing you stories as they break from Nigeria and across the world. We will stop at nothing to keep you informed, because KUFM News is all about you and stories that affect you. Politics, business, human interests, sports, entertainment, just name it. We've got you covered. KUFM News. Timely, precise, spot on.
Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, on Friday urged the federal government to pity the children of ordinary Nigerians and quickly attend to their demands, noting that they are tired of strike action. The union disclosed that federal government is rushing the union to resume because the government is scared of youth protest after the soldier demonstrations during the EndSARS agitations. A statement which was read by the union zonal coordinator, Olufaya, on Friday, explained that the lingering industrial action of the union was to get the federal government to fulfill the agreement of 2013 and 2019, and that's primarily about the Integrated Personnel and Payroll System, IPES. Professor Olufaya said meetings with the federal government recently have not solved any issues, as the government is bent on dishonoring the agreement. High level of frustration has greeted many Benin residents who have had cause to use the road in the last 2 weeks. In fact, in most cases, it takes more time to move around Benin City than it would take to travel to Warri, Ekpoma, Agbo, or Okada. Well, in case you were wondering if Benin City is eventually becoming Lagos, just hold on a moment. Extra Voices was out to capture the feel and clear your doubt.
In the ever-revolving world of news, one story becomes extinct the moment another major story breaks. But with KUFM's Extra Voices, the story never dies. It just takes on a new life.
There's no water in the house. The toilet is not good.
We don't have any fashion in APC.
We bring you new angles and fresh perspectives to every story, no matter how old or remote.
There are a lot of educated people that are involved in politics nowadays.
We go a little beyond the surface to get you those extra details ignored in the rush for the news.
Now bridge, now we take the entire.
So don't die for inside.
We go beyond the lines to bring extra voices, not just for those making the stories,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
but for those affected by the stories.
I've lost 1 bag of rice. Documents.
So it's a real disaster.
With Extra Voices, we add new flavor to give fresh perspective and taste to an old story. Extra Voices airs every Wednesday and weekends on KUFM's major news bulletins.
In the current phase of events, the volume of traffic in Benin City is at an all-time high. With no particular cause in sight, road users have been left frustrated, spending long hours and resources on usually short-distance movements. Extra Voices took to the streets to relay the people's frustrations and inquire to know what the authorities are doing and how soon such efforts can begin to manifest results.
A drive around Benin City lately takes more time than traveling outside the city. The gridlock experienced in some parts of Benin metropolis has been one of major concern to motorists going about their daily business. At Duawa, Ramat, Akpakpaba, Ekenwa Road, Mission Road, Third, Saple Road, and some parts of GRA are some of the busiest routes that have witnessed these gridlocks during rush hours in the morning, sometimes at midday, and then evening period.
A journey of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. At times we spend 30 minutes from the hold up. At times more than.
All these crashes we see on my vehicles, this hold up that caused it, because you spent like a minimum of 1 hour on the traffic as early as 6 a.m. and you experience it for like 7 straight hours.
At times 2 hours, 1 hour plus. At times you can stay for even 3 hours.
really too bad. Where you spend 2-3 hours at the spot. This rubber park, the circle is supposed to be reduced. It's too big. Every day, hold up. It's just there for nothing.
Traffic lights, which are signaling devices positioned at road intersections, pedestrian crossing, and other locations to control flows of traffic, seem to be ineffective in most parts of the city before and after the EndSARS protests. So, it's been more like a jungle driving in most places.
The traffic light in Benin is not functioning. That's why, most especially this Akpaba, we always have traffic jam here because the driver, they don't want to wait for each other.
If the traffic lights are working and the road users, they have their own self-discipline to wait for their time to pass, the hold up will go down.
The managing director of the Edo State Traffic Control and Management Agency, ETSMA, Dennis Oloriegbe, gave some reasons for the recent gridlock experienced in some parts of Benin City.
Because of the traffic, there is an increase in economic activity. Markets are busy, people are shopping, people are trying to make money the last 2 months of the year. 2, there have been a lot of inflow of high vehicular movement passing through the city because of security reasons. Instead of taking the bypass, we are afraid because they just covered that the police have relaxed their operation. So now we have a lot of either miscreants or armed robbers terrorizing the express. And there are blockages in some areas for security reasons too, like the police headquarters. Based on that, people have to look for alternatives.
Oloriegbe further outlines the measures being put in place by the agency to help handle the traffic situation.
1, we have released more traffic personnel. Almost everybody is on the road now. 2, we are also sending messages to radio stations, high peak period of traffic, so that they can announce to people on alternatives. So that's what we will do in December.
Some road users have also blamed the gridlock horrors on some bad portions of the road.
What normally called the hold up is bad road.
What called this hold up in Rama Park now is bad road, bad immigration office.
The highway Auchi road is not good at all. And the bad spot is very dangerous. That's lorry fall down on the way anyhow, anywhere.
Like the RCC junction at Sapler Road by the bypass, which has been a nightmare for road users, business owners and residents. Motorists have been conditioned to access alternative routes through the old road to link up with the Benin bypass or inward the city in continuation of their trips.
This Ewuku road and towards RCC, the road is very bad. All the bus drivers know they pass. Even many trailers they fall for the road. They affect us so well. People they go bypass, they're very stranded, and the water with the other side of the road they're very stagnant. So they flow go anywhere. So now one lane everybody they pass, and now one lane now don't cut.
And they apply this road, this bypass. She's going this road bad. I don't see go bypass again. They come for barrier. You understand that they affect us badly.
Commercial motorcyclists, also known as Okada riders, who normally do not ply the major roads, had to provide their services to commuters in order to cross over some bad sections of the road.
One side of the road are blocked, and before we are not coming to this side, but because of the road, we are coming to this side. We are carrying people. Because of this road bad for Sapler Road, for RCC, that make me carry my bike come to work for here. Made the help basic carry and go bypass.
The situation has, however, affected cost of transportation as commercial drivers had to adjust to meet losses incurred in long traffic jams.
Transport's not there on the high side. Before now, we used to go there 200, 150 from New Benin, but for that I don't increase to 300.
Before we carry person from RCC to OGG, we carry 100 naira, but now we carry a lot of 200, 300.
Business owners like Rejoice Godwin, Beauty, Ogechi Paul also complained that the situation is taking a toll on their businesses.
Motor too they sink for here because if you sink here, no customer now because they know if you come down for poto. If they affect my customer.
One certain time, motor not usually pass here. They usually pass old road to divert. During that time now, we cannot sell.
This is a Ewuku junction, Obe precisely. Our filling station that is here now, most customers that are supposed to buy from us, once they get to the junction before this very junction, they cut off just for them to avoid these bad roads.
It remains to be seen how long this gridlock will last before a decisive intervention is made, given that December, another month of the year notorious for traffic jams in Benin City, is just a few weeks away. For KUFM's Extra Voices, Blessing Asekulu.
Moment in our entertainment news. Bayelsa Governor Doye Diri appoints Nengi of Baby Niger as Senior Special Assistant. Stay with us, please. To News Dawn on 92.7 KUFM Benin City, and over now to entertainment, where a former housemate of the reality TV show Big Brother Naija, Rebecca Nengi Hampson, has been appointed as a senior special assistant to the Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri. Diri appointed the second runner-up of the Baby Naija Lockdown Edition as a senior special assistant on the girl child. The chief press secretary to the governor, Daniel Alabra, announced Nengi's appointment in a statement on Friday. And finally, in entertainment, DMW label boss and superstar singer Davido has finally dropped the release date for his body of work, A Better Time. OBO, as he is fondly called, said he will be releasing the album on November 13th, 2020, and that the second single on the project will be out by Monday. The 17-track album is his fourth body of work in 2 years. Davido's album is coming barely 2 weeks after Wizkid dropped his Made in Lagos MIL album. And that's it on entertainment. Over now to sports, where the Tigers coach Mike Brown releases a 20-man professional list for the 2021 Afrobeat qualifiers. Ebu Saibeka has more in our sports bulletin this morning.
The Tigers new coach Mike Brown has released a 20-man professional list for the 2021 AfroBasket qualifiers slated for Kigali, Rwanda between 27th and 29th November. Brown, who will officially start his journey with Nigeria, submitted a list featuring 7 players who featured at the 2019 FIBA World Cup, where the country qualified for the Olympics in Tokyo. Captain Ike Ziogu will lead the legion, which includes 29-year-old Stan Okoye, who plays for Gran Canaria, as well as Ben Uzo, Ike Iroebu, Talib Zana, Ekwe Udo, and Michael Eri. 2015 NBA winner with Golden State Warriors Festus Ezeli will be on the flight to Rwanda for a chance to represent Nigeria for the first time ever alongside a member of the 2015 AfroBasket winning team, Mike Buliji. After missing the final 12-man team to the World Cup, France-based Ike Uwamu will make another return to the team alongside Tony Jekiri, Christopher Obekwa, Rastin Owozi, Mike Fivera, Obina Emegano at some point featured during the team's 2019 qualifiers. Chima Moneke has averaged 12.3 points and 5.8 rebounds in 4 games for Olin in the French League, has also been caught up for the first time alongside Zai Christopher, Hest, Okpala Naka, who plies the street in the second tier of the French League. Finally, Super Eagles technical advisor General Trump paid a visit to the Flying Eagles camp on Friday afternoon in Abuja. That Bozo's side are preparing for the WAFCON Under-20 Cup of Nations, which will hold later this month. Brown gave the team moral support and encouraged them to do the nation proud by qualifying for the Under-20 African Cup of Nations. The Flying Eagles have played 3 friendly matches against local teams, won or scored 12 goals and kept a clean sheet. Nigeria are drawn in Group B along with Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And that's sports news on KFM's News Dawn. My name is Ebusa. I will come back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Ebusa, for those sports stories. And of course, with those stories, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, we'll recap the headlines. Reports of the 2019 general elections. The Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly says lawmakers won't hesitate to checkmate Governor Obaseki, and ASU has begged the federal government to pity children of average Nigerians. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget, you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. We are also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can also listen to us on RadioGarden.com. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Lebedum Asagwaram. I am Charles Operum saying thanks for listening and good morning.
92.7 KUFM News. Concise, precise, balanced, unbiased.
We are live from Benin City to the world. This is 92.7 KUFM News Dawn.
Hi, this is David Guetta. What up, man? This is Ludacris.
Hey, what's really good, people? It's your boy Ty Cruz, and you're locked in and listening to the future of radio.
92.7 KUFM.
Let's go. Hey, yo! Uncle Dentist, what can be cavities and how Colgate take the